Hey, good evening, everyone. And we are just waiting for one more person to join, but I guess we'll get started on this. Uh, Welcome to this webinar on project planning and scheduling. Today, we have a very interesting topic which says that does scheduling require intelligence? Okay, I'm sure all of you have been part of a lot of projects and a lot of planning activities, and there would have been enough challenges in each of your projects when it comes to planning the project, which is kind of the most important activity in any project management, uh, in a project management activity as a whole. Okay, it's a very important component of how a project can be run, and it drives the project. It's the heart of the project management component. Okay, so today we are going to look at something which is going to help you do this planning effectively. So we are first going to understand the challenges of what project management and project planning is all about in various cases, and then we'll see how we can actually go about using a tool to help us do that in a very intelligent manner. Okay, I hope I'm audible to the entire audience. Sumit, am I audible? I have unmuted you. Can you just confirm?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll proceed. So, this is the agenda for the day. So, we'll just get introduced on the topic. Then, we'll talk about what project planning is, and we'll just look at the cases where the planning component becomes a little complex and complicated. Then, we'll talk about Project Insight, which is a project management tool which can help you do certain things with respect to the planning in a more efficient and effective manner. Okay. Finally, we'll take questions that you may have. Any questions? Though I've put the question and answers towards the end, I urge you to type out your questions or raise your hand in case you have any questions that are lingering in your mind during the course of the presentation. I'll be happy to answer them then and there itself. Okay, so you can even leave a chat message. I'll read out those questions uh, aloud, and then I'll try to answer to the best of what we can. Okay. Okay, so let's proceed. Okay, so most of you may be already associated with ProThoughts as an organization. You might have undergone your PMP training or any other CAPM or any other activity or any certification program with ProThoughts, so you would have heard about it from your friends or reference. I'll just take a minute or so to brief about what ProThoughts is. ProThoughts is a professional services organization in the area of project management. Primarily, we provide professional services in three areas. One is education services, the second is consulting, and the third is software implementation. Okay. With respect to the software implementation part, which we are going to look at, we are the exclusive partner to Project Insight, which is a product of an organization called Project Insight based out of California in US. So in Asia, Middle East, and Africa, we are its exclusive implementation partners. So there are some quick facts which are mentioned about ProThoughts. So we basically operate out of Mumbai and Pune, where we have offices, and though we conduct trainings pan India, we do trainings in other cities as well. So you can visit our website to get more information about that. Okay, so moving on quickly about me. My name is Srinivas, and I have around 18 years experience in the software services industry. I have done primarily worked for two organizations. One is Patni Computers and Oracle Financial Services. I handled various kinds of projects in managerial as well as techno-functional roles, primarily for customers in financial services domain. So this has given me a very wide exposure of doing various roles in delivery function, quality, pre-sale, sales operations, risk, bid management, etc. So I joined ProThoughts to make sure that my core competency as a project management reaches out to the wider audience, and I can help this particular professional services organization in extending their reach globally. Okay, so I'm a senior project management consultant here, and I'll be walking you through the entire webinar. Okay, moving on, let's go jump directly into the topic. So, project planning. Now, when we talk about the term planning, if most of you, I believe, are PMP certified or already undergone the PMP certification training, prerequisite trainings, and you have significant experience in various areas of planning. So, if you observe, one of the areas after initiation is planning, and planning has the most number of activities. If you look at the process chart or any kind of chart, planning involves a lot of things and forms the basis of the entire execution and monitoring and control activities which follow planning. So if you don't get the planning right for your project, you may actually end up messing up the entire project in various factors. Okay, so this is going to lead to cost, quality, customer satisfaction. It has endless implications if the planning is wrong. Now, there are a lot of people who believe that well begun is half done or well planned is half done. Now, planning is not an one time activity. So, some people just pick up a Microsoft project desktop version and create a plan and then dump it and leave it somewhere. So, this is not how the planning works. Planning is an activity which evolves as, so what we call that progressive elaboration in term PMP terms. So, it evolves with time, be it waterfall methodology, be it agile methodology. There has to be some kind of a plan which needs updation time and again. So it's kind of an iterative process. So if you look at what planning involves and where the challenges are, so project tracking has a very close link with planning. Why? Because you plan, start executing, check back on the plan whether you're on track or not, right? So the planning, if you're not on track, needs to be updated. The estimates may change, there may be change requests, etc., for which the plans may get updated. So project tracking and planning are very closely interconnected. The second part of this, if you want to really track your project effectively, all of you have would have heard about the term baselining, right? Now, baselining is very critical if you want to track your project effectively. If you don't have a benchmark against which you can track, it is not going to give you effective insights as to where you're heading, right? In terms of slippages, in terms of variances, etc. So it's very important that you freeze on a particular plan and then see where you're going, come back, see whether those baselines need to move based on certain justifications, move the baseline, again look back, track, and keep iterating this process again and again. Okay, so project tracking and baselines. Now, there are a lot of people who try to use Excel or a very simple Word document to prepare a chart and try to maintain versions of that. So, that may not really be very effective in most of the cases, especially if you look at the last 3 points. When a single project when you're given more than one project, you move from handling a single project to multiple projects, you start facing version control problems. You don't know which how the projects are related to each other, which are the versions, how we need to track it. So this is where some kind of an intelligent tool or some kind of an intelligence creeps in. This is the first point where you will encounter a need for some tool effectively helping you from its side to make your planning process more effective. Okay, this I'm talking with in terms of scheduling. Okay, planning actually encompasses a lot of things. It is about creating plan documents, it is about creating schedule, it is about creating resource plan, risk plan, issue plan, so many other things. Okay, but to create all these things you need to have a schedule in place as to when you'll be creating the plan document, when you'll be updating the risk register, when you'll be doing the execution, when you'll be doing certain things. Okay, so we need something more than an Excel or a desktop version of something to move ahead and plan effectively. Now, this plan, again, coming to the third point, when you have multiple projects, what do you think will be the major challenge here? You will have an increase in the number of stakeholders you're interacting with. You have a single project, you had a single team which is in the same location. You can walk up to that person and actually talk to him, find out what he is doing, update the plan. It's pretty simple. An Excel will suffice, a desktop version will suffice. But when you have multiple projects, when you have multi-site projects where you can't be physically present, that will be the thing where you will actually go ahead and start appreciating collaboration of data. You actually want people to see your plan, multiple teams to see your plan, multiple project managers to come and view what you're doing. You want to make sure that the projects are in sequence if required or in parallel overlapping. So you need to make sure the dependencies between projects are taken care. So this is when you actually start thinking in terms of more of an enterprise project management software or some aid, external aid to help you plan intelligently. Okay, now common sense tells you that planning has certain basic steps, but you need to add some intelligence to that common sense or those steps which you're doing, right? If there is some prompt which the tool or some external software can give you, that is going to make your life really easy. It is humanly impossible to track data manually beyond a certain point. I'm sure most of you have already realized that while working on projects. As the stakeholders get complicated and more complex, manual tracking of data will not work for us. So the whole agenda of today's webinar and the whole focus is going to be around what project planning is in terms of complex projects, in terms of multi-site projects, in terms of overlapping parallel projects, in terms of multiple projects being handled by the same person. Okay, so for all of this, ease of creating and managing tasks, the second point here, is the key. Okay, if you can easily create projects, easily create tasks, compare various projects with each other with much ease, you have some intelligent reporting and analytics coming up on your software dashboard, that is really going to help you find where you're moving towards and in whether that the direction which you're moving is good or not. So all of you know that it is not only about time and the effort. All of these things have an implication on the cost of the resource, the revenue each resource is earning, and of course, ultimately on the profitability or the margin of the project. Okay, so before we proceed further, I just wanted to take a quick check on whether any questions that are lingering in your mind. I can take them right away, and then we can move on. So if you have any questions, please type, or I can kind of unmute you so that you can ask that question directly. So I'll give 30 seconds or so. I'll just wait for that. Okay, I guess I'll move on. If there is any question, please do raise your hand or type it out. Okay, now let us look at something called as Project Insight. So, what Project Insight is and how will it help you? Okay, so Project Insight is a software which is developed by Project Insight organization. Now, why was this software developed and what exactly does it help? In what way it exactly helps the project managers? Now, around a couple of minutes back, we spoke about so many challenges. Okay, so the challenges were very specific to planning. Now, this software not only helps address the planning areas, but it also helps in the execution, monitoring, control, and many more areas in terms of timesheet, invoicing, billing, integration with your accounting systems, etc. etc. But today we are going to look at this software purely from the angle of planning. Okay, what it has to offer for project planning activities and how it can really help you in your day-to-day activity. Okay, so Project Insight is a mid-market leader. Now when I say mid-market, it is not an entry level or it is not at the high end. Okay, when you look at Gartner reports or other reports for software, this is going to address small and medium businesses in effectively tracking their projects. Okay, it is an enterprise suite. It comes with a lot of features and integration abilities. Okay, so this is a mid-market leader in its segment. It is a winner of a Cody Award. Now, Cody Award is given in US year on year across various categories. Okay, so it is given by an institution called Software Information and Industry Association. This is a very prestigious award to win this, and Project Insight won this award this year. So the results were just announced on June 12th, which is yesterday, and it won this award in the category of the best project management solution. Okay, in 2018 it was a finalist, and in 2017 it was a winner. So they started participating in this only from 2017, and 17, 18, 19 throughout it has been getting a very good mileage in these awards. So it's a award which is judged, a software is judged based on many parameters, and is a very good indication of what the software has to offer to all its customers. Okay, now who uses this software and what is its presence globally? If you look at this particular representation, so it has a span of around 39 countries. Okay, so we at ProThoughts look after its implementation in Asia Pacific, Middle East, and Africa. We are its exclusive implementation partners. Okay, so this will give you an idea of its global presence. And another thing that I would like to highlight at this point is project management software is a industry agnostic thing. Okay, so now this will work for any industry. It is not that it's going to work only for IT industry or the manufacturing sector. It can be used across projects in any domain. Okay, healthcare, we have customers from healthcare, manufacturing, we have BFSI, automobile, etc. So it has this ability to help customers across various industries. Okay, so moving on, some of the key features that I would like to highlight, and in this slide I would like you to focus on each of the points because each of them uh, has this intuitive and intelligent way of helping you out. Now let us look at something called as intelligent scheduling. We'll look at this in detail in the subsequent slides. We are going to focus on intelligent scheduling and project baselines today. But leaving these 2 points, a look at the first one. It is 100% web based. So there is no pro no on-site implementation related hassles that will come in terms of implementation. There's a very easy to use cloud-based SaaS software which can be installed in a very short period and has a very wonderful performance, meaning they had this their own data center till now, but now it is all hosted on Microsoft Azure, which is going to make it very fast and effective. Okay. Second thing is about portfolio view and project request. Now it has integration abilities, what I was talking about in the past. So this project can actually connect to your CRM system, be it CRM Dynamics, Siebel, or any other CRM that you use, where use for lead monitoring and lead generation and tracking. So once the lead is converted into a project, the project insight system actually has an ability of all the leads converted to create a project request based on which the things can be automated and the project creation can happen automatically. So this is the kind of intelligence I'm talking about when it comes to a tool helping you out. Okay. Portfolio prioritization is again based on monitoring all your projects in one single dashboard, which will give you very intuitive insights into where to focus on in your particular portfolio. Your portfolio may have 20 projects, but you need to know which are on plan, which are not, and prioritize based on that. Then it has certain parameters, which is like, the points based weightings weighings weighting weight based system, risk weight system, and score based systems, where you can actually put certain pointers and try to find out which of your projects in the portfolio are a priority for you. Okay, so it has such intelligent forms which you can fill and actually based on that make your decision where to put your money on. Okay. Intelligent scheduling and project baselines will cover in depth. Resource allocation. Now, resource allocation forms a very key factor when you have multi-site and multiple projects running parallelly, overlapping, having dependencies. So you need to pull out resource from one place and put it in another project. There is a threat of over allocation, under allocation, utilization, so many factors. Now, this has very intelligent and graphical dashboards to show you at a resource type level. Say, resource type is business analyst, or programmer, developer, project manager, tester, etc. Based on that, or through in the way of resource name, it can show you a very beautiful graphical allocation of where and for what period a particular resource is over allocated or under allocated. And suppose you need to address those issues, it can actually prompt you the names of resources who are not allocated for that period. It can actually bring up the names which can help you easily identify which resources can be allocated at that point in time. So this is where we refer we use the term intelligence. Okay, the tool has intelligent algorithms built within it which will actually help you do this. Okay, then we talk about collaboration. So when your project members increase, stakeholders increase, everyone wants to need has a need to know, right, where the project is heading towards, what is happening, whether the project is profitable or not, are the resources getting utilized. So this collaboration, you can share reports, you can share information, you can share notifications, you can do so many things. You can integrate it to Slack, Skype, whatever collaboration software you have. You can integrate it to Outlook, Office, based on which you'll get a very easy way of collaborating the status with multiple people. Of course, if you look at the right hand side, we have a lot of features in terms of alerts, integrations, expense tracking, time tracking, all of these things can be actually shared with the people. And we have certain role based and user based access restrictions which will allow the a particular set of people to view only the data that they are authorized to view. Okay, so this is an overview of what this software has to offer as a whole. So out of all these things, today we are going to look specifically at intelligent scheduling and project baselines. Okay, so moving ahead. Okay, this is a slide that gives you an overview of the various systems that this can easily integrate with. So a lot of APIs that are exposed specific to these systems, which will help you integrate this software very easily into your organization. Okay, so moving on now, in terms of scheduling, in terms of planning, it is very powerful and easy. Now, let us look at what makes this software powerful and easy with respect to planning. The first thing is about project templates. Now, what does a template mean? So, whenever you have a certain type of project, obviously in your organization you will be doing certain kind of projects, and it will follow a certain set of tasks, certain set of activities for certain kind of projects. You can actually go here and define those templates. Okay, so once you define a template, say for example you can have a template for a waterfall kind of a thing, you can have a template for an agile kind of thing, you can have something for a development, maintenance and support, product implementation, product customization. So you can have some 6 7 templates that can be stored here. So each time you go and create a project, you need not actually go and define each of these tasks individually again and again, which can be really time consuming. Okay, you can just create a project, choose from a template, from a predefined template, create the project, and that's it. It will take less than a minute to do this activity. Okay, second thing, you can actually allocate resources from a user base. You have an organization, there are 2 or 3 kinds of things that you can do with users. You can create a customer base company wise. Within that you can have groups, and then you can have users. So when you allocate resources to a project, the user list automatically prompts up, which makes it very easy and quick to allocate resources. And as I mentioned earlier, it will actually throw up names of resources who are not allocated during that period, based on the type of resource you need. You need a business analyst who is not there, who you need a developer who is not allocated during that period. It will throw up those names, and you can easily attach them to the projects. Okay, now for the set of tasks, you have a template where you have a predefined set of tasks, and you've ended up creating a project. Now you realize that this template is not good enough for me. I need a certain mix of tasks from say 2 or 3 templates. Okay, so you have a project that you want to create where the first set of tasks are from template 1, second set of tasks are from template 2, and third set of tasks are from template 3. So that is another feature that this software offers. So you take a particular template, add certain tasks only from that template, then go back, add tasks from another template, those appear. So you can use this kind of juggling to very quickly put together a project and its activities. Okay, the second last point about intelligent scheduling. Now, Microsoft project, most of you would have worked on Microsoft project, which actually tries to give you all the particular parameters which are required for scheduling, like predecessor, successor. You have constraints that you can define, start to start, finish to finish, start to finish, finish to start, etc. All those things, right? So Project Insight has all those features built in. Apart from that, it can actually, it has certain settings which if you set, it can actually redefine the duration, work, and resource allocation automatically based on its intelligent algorithms, based on certain things that you do. Say for example, you have 50 tasks in a template, okay, or in a project. You change two end dates of two tasks, okay, based on whatever discussion you've had with the customer. Based on that, you want other tasks to reschedule automatically. So we have this kind of a feature setting where if you set it to intelligent scheduling, it can automatically adjust all the other tasks based on the changes you make to one or two tasks. And this really makes your life very, very easy when you're actually handling multiple projects and multi-site projects. Okay, it will take care of over allocations, it will take care of project interdependencies, it will take care of inter task dependencies, and it will automatically give you a Gantt chart which will show you what is dependent on what. It will show you the critical tasks separately in red. It will also show you a comparison with the baseline. So that is where I'm coming to the last point. The baseline activity, the baselining activity is a very, very, very key activity for any project planning. If you do not baseline a project, you will never be able to find out where you're heading towards. Okay, baselining will help you find out what the variance is, what the cost variance is, what the effort variance is, and what the schedule variance is. Okay, and these baselines, you can create n number of baselines in project insight. So you have an initial baseline, then the baseline changes after you receive a change request from the customer. So it will be rebaselining after cr1, rebaselining after cr2. It holds the history of each of these baselines, and at any point in time you can compare the current situation of the project against any of the past baselines that you have created. Okay, now I'll just show you certain screens which detail the inbuilt features of what this product has to offer in the planning area. Okay, uh, there has been a request to project insight team that most of the people use Microsoft project for their planning activities. So this is a very useful feature where if someone is still adapting to project insight and is comfortable only with Microsoft project, they can actually create a project in Microsoft project, export it to XML format, and import it back here. Okay, it is a very easy navigation that is being provided. You can just import the XML and your project can be created. Similarly, all the dependencies, the resource mappings, and all of that you create in Microsoft project will automatically reflect here based on the settings that you do. Okay, so there's no need to do any additional settings. You just have to map the resources to the users defined in Project Insight, and it will automatically allocate all the duration, resources, etc. Okay. Similarly, now you have a requirement that you've imported a project in my Project Insight, and you made some changes within the project as the project moves into the execution stage. Now you want to take it back into Microsoft project. So the question is, can I do that? And the answer is yes. You can actually export a project from Project Insight into XML format and directly import it into a Microsoft project. Seamless integration, no additional settings needed, and it will get implemented there. Okay, it will get the project will have all the constraints, dependencies, resource allocation as defined in Project Insight. So this is one feature that is very helpful for people who don't want to leave Microsoft project, or they still are comfortable using that. The second thing is project templates. Now, I spoke about project templates and its usefulness. Now the question comes, why would you actually need access? Rather, I should go to the second question, where who should have access to project templates? The need for project templates is very clear for us, right? You have multiple types of projects. You don't want to spend time creating those tasks and activities again and again. That is why you would need project templates. Now, who should have access to project templates? Now, this is where another powerful feature of Project Insight comes in, wherein you can restrict a user's access to a particular section of the software based on the privileges that his role has. Okay, you can assign a user to a role. The role will have certain privileges. Based on those privileges, he can access a project template. Now, who ideally should have access? The PMO, the project management office, or the project management team, which is actually defining processes in the organization. So those are the people who will define templates. They will not define projects, they will define project templates which can be reused based on the data they have of all the projects that are running the organization. So we can create that particular access and that role within the system. This makes it very, this takes off half the work of the project manager who's actually handling the project, right? So there is a separate team which actually does this and gives him that template. The third thing, setting up the folder structure for managing all the company projects. Now, uh, one of the features that I missed, or rather I deliberately skipped talking about, is document management system. Okay, this tool not only helps manage projects and show dashboards and analytics and all of that, it is a very strong document, or rather I should say, to make it generic, content management system. It has a very strong folder structure, version control built-in system, where you can upload multiple types of files and maintain it in a folder structure along with the version. Okay, so you can actually define folder structures for templates, put those templates within that, and give access to specific folders to specific companies, groups, users, roles, etc. That way your entire content is controlled in a very easy and effortless manner. So the administrator is someone who will do this job for you. The project manager need not really bother about it. He just needs to say, this is the folder, these are the people who need access, and that will be done. And all the activities that I'm talking about, it is taking time for me to probably explain, but this can be done within a minute or two in each of the, for each of the features that I'm talking about. Okay. Now, dynamic dates. Coming to the fourth point, dynamic dates is something which which allows you to set dates which are not predefined. For example, you want to do certain things in reports or certain other areas where you want a range of dates. So each time you don't need to go and select a range, you can just say last quarter. It will automatically take the data for the last quarter. When you say last 6 months, last half year, or last year, it can dynamically identify based on today's date as to what last year means. Okay, so this is also going to save you time from choosing what is it, and if I want to see the data of last quarter, or if I want to set some uh, duration for the next quarter, you don't have to actually think, okay, today I am on June, so it will start July, August, September. You just say next quarter. It knows that it is from July to September. Okay, so this dynamic dates is something which is an added intelligence, that so it is not only about quarter, it is about half year, it is about a month, it is about half month. So various options to choose from. Okay, then we can actually associate tasks with certain skill sets. Now, there are many situations where you don't know who is the resource who's going to work on this task. There are many situations where you have actually requested the resource management team to recruit resources. You have said that 6 business analysts, 7 engineers, 8 developers, 9 testers. You don't know. So you need something called as a placeholder resource or a skill based placeholder. So here it provides a feature where you can actually allocate placeholder resources based on skill type. So you have a project, you've created the tasks, you want to allocate resource and see how the allocation appears. You choose the skill type, allocate the resources, associate the cost with it, and you will actually know what is your budget and what is the baseline and what is your planned budget for that. Okay, so this is going to save you tons of effort, especially in huge projects where your resource loading is very clear, but you don't know the resource name, who's going to come and who's going to work on the task. Okay, the last but not the least, the document part I already spoke about, the collaboration structure. Collaboration is something which is very strong for this. You can actually have certain things called as alerts and notifications. Okay, each and this is all of this is event driven. So when you choose a particular event, there are tons of events to choose from. When a project is created, so I'm just giving throwing some examples of events. When a project is created, when a task is created, when a resource is allocated, when a task is deleted, when the task is delayed, it is due, overdue, on track, so many other events. You can actually set notifications as to who will get notified on which event. Okay, this is one form of collaboration, alerts and notifications. The second type is actually integrating it with something like Microsoft Outlook or Slack or Skype or any other software which is like a collaborative tool. And you can actually use that tool to update the status in this software. You can actually send a mail through Outlook with an option that this task is 100% complete, and it will reflect in Project Insight. You can use Slack to actually type the status of the soft of that particular task, and it will get integrated here, it will update here. So these are the kind of things that can actually help. Then we have something called as reports and dashboards. All these reports and dashboards can be shared with users, including customers. So customer is also treated as a user within Project Insight with certain access restrictions. So customer will be able to view only certain things, but you can always share a report or any artifact within Project Insight, stored within Project Insight with the customer directly. Also, you can schedule reports, you can schedule notifications, you can schedule reports. Say for example, you need a timesheet and an invoicing report to be sent to the management weekly or say monthly, status of invoicing and billing. It can actually go to the mailbox in the form of a link or in the form of a formatted Excel sheet, which they can actually download and see. The third form of collaboration is in terms of approvals. It has a very strong approval workflow built within it, which will actually help you seek approvals whenever a task is getting delayed or a project is getting delayed. You just raise a approval cycle, attach a project or a task or a status report to it, choose the approvers, write an email and activate it. That will land in the approver's inbox. He can open it, actually approve, deny, approve with comments, or do whatever he wants. Okay, and based on that approval, you can actually change the baseline of the project, seek additional mandates, additional budget, additional funding, whatever is required. Okay, apart from this, the regular risk and issues tracking is a feature that can also help with collaboration. You can collaborate, share those risk status reports and other things. Okay, now when we create projects from temp, I think I covered this slide as well, where we create. I'll probably in the last 5 to 10 minutes, I'll just show you the software as to how this can be done, how a document folder structure looks, how a task can be added or deleted, how a resource can be assigned. So it's very, very similar interface to what Microsoft Project offers. You can actually edit the software. You can actually edit the data similar to how you do it in Excel. You can just double click and actually edit it. So we'll just see that. Okay. And in intelligent scheduling, if you look at these points, these are some points uh, which we covered, and we actually will see this in the software screen. We'll try to see how this happens, time permits. Otherwise, I'll actually show you how a project can be created from a template, and how you can actually move around certain things and drag and drop. Now, drag and drop is a very, very strong feature. You can actually go to the Gantt chart and drag a particular schedule from one location to another, and it will automatically change. Okay, along with all its dependencies. Now, this is the Gantt chart view. Now, if you look at this Gantt chart, the red ones, the blue lines is actually indicating the schedule. The red lines actually show you what are those tasks which are on the critical path. So now, I'm sure all of you understand what critical path is. Okay, so these are the tasks that must be completed for the project to end. Okay, it has zero float. That is what critical path means, and it will show you this critical path and also the baseline. So this again we will probably see in the software, so that will help you. Okay, this is about baselines. We spoke about this baseline. All the if you can see the screen, I think this thing is not very clear, but you can see the dots, right? The green dot, the red dot, and the yellow dot. These are certain indicators which indicate whether your project is actually on track in terms of dollars. When you see a dollar sign, it is in terms of cost budget, and the other indicators are to show you on the efforts and the schedule. Okay, and you can compare it with baseline, n number of baselines, and okay. So this is what uh, intelligent scheduling, or how the software helps you with its own intelligence in terms of tracking and managing projects. This is something which is a very small part of this entire software, but it's the most powerful and most important part of this particular tool. And in general planning, when you see, when the scheduling part of it, or when you prepare that particular Gantt chart, that is a core of any successful project management activity. Okay, so that is the thing which you need to focus most on. So we can take any questions right now, or I can actually go. If there are no questions, I'll proceed and I'll show you certain screens of the software which will help you understand whatever we spoke about in the last half an hour to 40 minutes. Yeah, Samit, want to type, or I've unmuted you. Samit, you have a question? I can see the hand raised. Can type it out as well.
Yeah, who does the XML conversion basically, like you said, from MPP to XML? If I want to basically,
The tool will do it. The tool will do it. You just need to say that save this project as XML, and it will
Okay.
automatically convert it into Excel. I'll just show you the live demo of that.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, sir. Mr. Acharya.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask whether these quality checks, whatever the quality checks are in, say, from uh, project which is being undertaken, so can these be added in the software? Quality
Quality
factors,
checks in terms of quality metrics, you're saying, right?
yeah, yeah, like
The
defects
product
or
quality and all
yeah,
of that. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
of course. You can configure any kind of columns, custom columns. It has inbuilt columns as well, and you
okay,
can form. You can construct your own report for quality as well. So it has certain features which allow you to actually define columns if there is no predefined column for the parameter that you are looking at, and you can actually go there, define that particular thing, and you can pull out a report which shows all of those columns, those parameters. So that is possible.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, sir. Okay, I think in the last 5-10 minutes, I'll just quickly show you the software. Okay, so here we are at the login screen of the software. I hope all are okay. I'll log in. Okay, this is the login screen of Project Insight. Okay, okay. So when you log in, this is the dashboard that you can see. You can, if you go to the home screen, this will throw up a list of all the various activities that the user is associated with. So, what are the projects he's associated with? What are the tasks, issues? What are the approvals that are pending? What are the notifications that he has got? Project requests, expenses, timesheets. The work list is actually a combination of many of these things. Okay, so let me just click on work list. It will show you what are the projects you're associated with, what are the approvals, what are the alerts. Now this can be accessed from the dashboard as well. The dashboard will show you, if you expand this my work, it will show you what are the projects, tasks, issues, approvals, proposals, timesheet entries, various things. Then this is the folder structure that I was talking about. So everything can be organized within a folder. Now, if you let me click on a folder, particular folder. Now, if you look at this active projects folder and actually edit this folder, you can see that there are certain things which allow what items are that can be configured, what items can be allowed, what are the permissions that this folder has, who can actually log in at the company. So when I say company, it is projects you do for your customers. So each customer becomes a company. The group is a set of people. So you can have management users as a group, you can have project managers as a group, you can have technical architects as a group, you can have business analysts as a group. So yeah, yes, please type. Yeah, yes, Mr. Acharya.
So, no,
I can
No,
see your
I
hand raised. Any
no
question?
no no no
Okay,
no.
okay. Okay, okay, okay. Samit, any question?
No,
No. Okay,
no,
okay,
Shri, no, no.
okay, okay. So this is how you give access to a folder. So now if you actually go into a particular folder, you can see a lot of tasks. So this is one demo which we created for the customer AGS. We create so many projects for them. So we also have templates. If you look at certain things here in the project templates folder, we have created a lot of templates and kept it. So whenever we go to active projects and add a project, you actually add, there's so many components that you can add. Out of that, when you add a project, you give a name. Okay, you can actually use this template, a predefined template. Let's assume we have an agile project. You use this agile template. If this is going to be a new template, you can save it as template, or you can make it an active project. If you're not going to start it, you can keep it at planning stage as well. There are certain other things that you can do upfront. You can assign resources upfront. You can assign a project manager upfront. Project schedulers are somebody who I mentioned earlier are part of the PMO team. So they have a certain access to create templates and monitor the project. They will have certain more privileges than the resources. The resource, when I say resources, they don't necessarily mean only the engineers or the developers. It means anyone who is not part of the PMO team. Okay. So you just have to say save. No other field is mandatory here. You can just save and you will get a project within active projects, which is called webinar demo. So I will collapse the left side, open this particular project, and I will expand all tasks. So this is a very small template. You can actually go here and add a task. Say you can say release, and that's all you need to say, and say enter. So the release task will get added. So the thing about Excel kind of double click, which I was talking about. So you just double click here, add a predecessor if you want. So the testing has to get completed before a release can happen. Again, double click, add some duration for this, enter. Okay. So this is the first and default view. If you look at this Gantt chart, it will show you the duration. And clicking on this option, show critical tasks in red, which will actually show you which of these tasks are on a critical path. So in this case, all of these are. So it shows everything in red. Okay. Now we don't have any baselines. So if even if I click show baseline in a separate row, it will not show. Okay. So for baselining, we just go to options. Okay. We just go to baseline, set an initial baseline. This is one more feature. If you make actually a mistake while typing, this will actually show this red line. I mean, this is a very small thing, but useful in many cases. So this baseline is created. Now let me go back to the task and make a change. Okay, so I'll change something and the baseline will be visible. So I will actually go here and change this duration to say 20 days. Okay, so now when you go to the Gantt chart, so all the things that you see in gray is the baseline, and this is the new schedule which appears. Okay, so this way, and now the drag and drop feature. So you can actually drag the schedule here, things will automatically change. You can actually drag this task here, things will automatically change. Okay, change it here, it will change. So the dependencies will get dragged along. Okay, we have something called as status board, something like a Kanban board, which is also a very useful uh, single page view of what the status is of the project. So all you do is nothing is started as of now. These are all custom defined statuses for the task. You can actually say that the development has started or development is in progress, testing has started, and this will reflect here. This will actually reflect in the task status. So for resource allocation, you can actually double click here, add a resource. It will show you all the resources that are there. It will even show you the skill type placeholder resources, which can be defined in the admin section. Okay, so couple of things, couple of reports that I can show you. See, this is something we created portfolio level for AGS. It will show you site wise what is the implementation status. You can actually group by certain columns for the data. If you look at bank wise report, this can show you a dashboard of how this looks. Okay, and this is the admin section where we can configure a lot of things in terms of users, roles, companies for project statuses, work status types, resource types. Okay, so these are certain things which will have limited access to users. So users have, if I click on users, I'll just show you the number of roles that a user can have. So these are so many roles which have special privileges for the users. Okay, and each of the privilege helps you restrict a particular user to certain content. Okay, there are many. The last thing that I wanted to show you is about certain notifications. So if you look at world system-wide auto alerts, so many events based on which you can set notifications. And finally, the custom fields. So you can actually user define fields at project level, task level, change order level, issue, whatever it is. You can actually go ahead and define your own fields, which can come as part of the reporting. Okay. Okay. I think we have exceeded our webinar time. So I'll restrict my demo of the software to just this. And any further questions, any other things that you may have, you can I can take it up right now, or you can email me. I will, or actually, you can. I think in the last slide, okay, you can note down this particular email ID and the contact number. You can reach out to us anytime, and we'll be happy to help you further with this particular software or any other aspect of this software, any other area. And you can read more about this software on our website, prothoughts.co.in. And thank you so much for attending this webinar. Any questions, I can take it.
Uh,
Yes, Mr. Acharya.
yeah, these reports and status reports, whatever if we generate from this software, can we directly link it to a email and send it to client or any stakeholder?
Yes, yes, yes. So just to show you that, I'll show you a sample wherein if you take this report, this particular report, in the save report option, there is something called as a share. Okay, in this share, you can actually choose the users with whom you need to share this report, and the customer can also be a user here with limited access to the system. So once you choose the user, you know that this report, let me choose myself as the user. You can actually choose to whom it should be shared, and you can schedule it to occur on a daily or weekly basis. Okay, and save it. By doing this, what will happen is I can show you an email which will make it a little more clear for you. Okay, so project insight. Okay, I think I don't have it here right now, but I can forward you an email. So what happens is when you schedule this report is sent through an email in the form of, you can choose what is the form that you want this report to be in. So do you want it to be a link? Do you want it to be an Excel file? Or do you want it to be a CSV file? So if you choose it as a link, it will, and the user has access to the system, the link will be sent to him in the email. Once he clicks on the link, say in this example, say the customer clicks on that link, he can log in and see the report online. If you say it is an Excel format, it will go as an attachment to his email. He can download that attachment, open it, and see the report. So this is the way it can be done very easily. So Mr. Acharya, does that answer your question?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay, okay. Thank you. Okay. Any more questions, or we can close this session? So thank you so much for attending this webinar, and please do get in touch with us on this email or contact number, and we'll be happy to help. Thank you.